How you doing?
Good. How y'all doing?
How much of your time the past couple of days has been spent on trying to figure out or guessing, I guess, if and how the Rams might use Odell Beckham Jr.?
Man, I had so many more problems before him. Now, now there's extra problems. Now, the news broke yesterday. I think, everyone knows OBJ is a great player. He's been a great player in this league for a long time. The Rams already presented us with a ton of problems with the guys they had. A pretty good team already. So for them to add OBJ is really good add for them and a big challenge for us. But, at the end of the day, players got to go make plays. So, we're up for the challenge. We have to go out and just play our game and make plays. It doesn't really matter who lines up across from us. It's just all about our mindset, our mentality, right, going against these guys. We just got to be ready to go work, play our technique, play with great effort, play together, and we'll be fine.
I guess some question. What happened Sunday? Because it didn't look like, typical defensive effort you had.
Yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't good at all. And what happened? We gave up way too many explosive plays. I think the most explosive plays we've given up, this entire season. And the problem with that is we didn't tackle well. We didn't track the ball carrier well. And when you do those type of things, we didn't tackle well. When you do those things, you give up that many explosive. It's not going to be a great outing. So yeah, we have to. Collectively, we have to play better, play together as a unit, and we have to tackle better. We have to track better. We have to do a lot of things better, if we want things to change.
Both Lenore and Norman battling injuries, how much confidence do you have? I'm sorry, with both Mosley and Norman battling injuries, how much confidence do you have should Thomas and Lenore have to contribute?
Yeah, I think Embry and Demo, both of those guys have been working. I think they're coming along really well. If it comes to it, those guys can go out there and play for us. I think they've been getting better these past couple of weeks. They've been getting better, and they've been, fighting to earn the right to be out there. So I'm happy with where those guys are and where they are progressing.
With Embry, I think Shanahan mentioned yesterday on the radio, or maybe it was today on the radio, that he needed to add a little bit more strength coming out of college after sitting out last year with COVID. Was that the case, and can he do that in half a season? Add some strength, that is.
Yeah, I think you can. You can do that. You can add strength throughout the season, and the biggest thing about that position being on the outside, over anything, it's all about confidence and mentality, right? You got to have the right mindset to be on the island, which is one of the toughest positions to play. In the NFL, it is corner. So you got to have the right mindset, and I think Embry is coming along. He's coming along really well. I'm really pleased with where he is now, and I think, he's put in the work to give himself a chance and be in a great position for us.
Kyle indicated he was fine with the decision, but it was your call to bench Norman after his penalty. Why did you do that?
Yeah, we've handled that internally, so that's between us, and I've already talked to Norman about that, and so we're good.
What did you see from the Titans, what they did to the Rams, that kind of can serve as a blueprint for you guys Monday night?
Yeah, the Titans, they played them really well. I think one thing the Titans did, they played hard, and their D-line really got after the offensive line. You can tell, they put pressure on the quarterback with their front four, and I think that's what helped them. And they took the ball away. In this league, every week we talk about turnovers and taking the ball. If you want to win again, you got to win the turnover battle. I think that's what the Titans did. That's the blueprint that they show, but that's the blueprint for every game in the NFL. Like, you got to win the turnover battle. And we have to take more defensively, and we have to secure it offensively.
How do you approach this game when you're facing a team that's in 11 personnel as much as it is? Does that kind of streamline things as far as what you guys concentrate on, or does it open up more problems? Like, how do you just go to a week like this?
Yeah, it's kind of what a lot of teams are going to now. You don't see as much, 12 and 21 personnel. So that's pretty much been the kind of theme for most weeks forwards, where teams are going heavy 11 personnel. But with the Rams, they are pretty good in that they can do everything out of 11 personnel with the personnel they have. I think with a great player as Cooper Kupp is, he gets in there, he blocks, and he can block just as good as a tight end on some of the run plays that they have. So with the personnel that they have, I think they're able to get away with it just because of the talent that they have at that receiver position.
When you say get away with it, meaning they can still run the ball.
They can still run the ball. They've been successful running the ball. We know, that's what Sean wants to do first and foremost. He wants to run the ball. They do a good job. The offensive line and the receivers blocking. That's one thing that sticks out the most watching these guys on film is the effort of their receivers in blocking in the run game.
You were, I think, a team captain for most of your football career. What, when a team is whatever it was, 3-5 or just struggling, what was your approach as far as leadership and rallying the guys?
Yeah, it's all when things aren't going good, as a leader or whatever it is, I think everybody just has to take a step back and hit the reset button, right? One thing that happens when things aren't going well, everyone tries to panic and you try to find there was this reason, that reason. Everybody just has to, hit reset and just get back to doing the basic things the right way. And it's football, right? So we gotta tackle. We gotta attack the ball, right? We gotta run it. We gotta throw it and catch it, right? We just gotta get back to the basics of fundamentals. And when I was ever in these positions, it's just remind guys, you get back to what got you here. Remind guys what got you into the NFL, what made you special, what set you apart. Just go be that guy. And when you're that guy, you go do it on Sunday, Monday, whenever it is. When you go do that, collectively, everybody doing that as a team, that's when things will change. It's not about pressing and trying to do something different. Everybody just has to be themselves, be who you are, and the reason why you were in this position, why you're in the NFL. Just playmakers got to go make plays. That's one thing I was telling our defense is that's when things will change. No matter how you look at it in this league, right, playmakers make plays. And when your playmakers are making plays, you got an opportunity to go win and change things.
Did you ever, you strike me as probably more of a lead by example, but a guy who would talk, but, was it screaming and hollering? Is that, there's talk about, the Niners have, quiet leaders, and et cetera, et cetera. They need someone to scream and yell and carry on. Can that be effective, or is that maybe it'll get guys charged up for 5 minutes?
Yeah, I think, the screaming and yelling, that goes well with some people it doesn't. And how long does that last, right? I don't see that as always an effective form of leadership. I think, like you said, leadership is by example. It's how you work and practice throughout the week. It's how attentive are you in the meetings, how detailed are you with your notes and all those things, and how you go play on Sundays. That's what matters. That's setting the example, right? Going and playing to the best of your ability, right? When you're playing up to the level of your ability, that's leading. Some guys can talk and not play. So you have to, if you're going to talk, that's okay, but back it up with your play, and guys will follow along. But everybody has to be a leader in their own right and just play to the level of their capability.
With Lenore, is he getting outside and nickel snaps during the week? How are you bringing them along this season? Yeah,
Lenore's focused more. He's been more on the outside, but we've also been getting him some inside reps as well. And he had some reps out there today and yesterday. He looked good in the inside as well. So he's juggling both, right? So he's doing a good job of it.
When you're looking at a young guy who potentially could be a nickel, what do you look for? Is it sort of tackling ability, feistiness? What are the attributes that you're looking for?
Yeah, well, that nickel position now, we talked about like the 11 personnel and more teams going to that. So that nickel position now, to me, is you're a hybrid. You're a linebacker, right? So you have to be able to be tough enough, physical enough to be be able to fit the run, right? Nickels have to be physical guys, but you also have to have quick feet. You have to be quick enough to mirror some of the slot receivers who are sometimes some of the quicker players on offense. So you have to be able to have that foot speed and lateral quickness to cover guys in the slot as well. So that's and the nickel as well. One thing that makes the nickel stand out, you have to be a really smart player because, like I said, as a linebacker, you're doing both. You got to understand your run fits, and you got to be great in a pass coverage, whether it's man or zone. So nickel has to be a very smart player. And one thing, we have is with K1. K1's a very smart guy, very sharp player, physical. He does it all, blitzing, covering. He can do it all. And Demo has a great guy in front of him who he can learn from.
Talking about, you kind of reference best players have to be their best. Fred Warner, acknowledged he's not having his best season. As a former linebacker, what goes into that? I mean, what does he need to improve to reach that level he was at?
Yeah, I think Fred is fine. Fred will be fine. Like I talked about earlier, he doesn't need to press. He doesn't need to press and feel like he has to do something special or extraordinary. Fred just has to be Fred and go play like he's always played. He doesn't have to put extra on his back and do more because we don't have this guy or that guy. He just has to go play and be Fred, and everyone around Fred has to play better as well. So it's not just on Fred. Every player should look at themselves internally and always want to do better and be better for the team. But that's everyone. It's not just Fred. It's everyone on the team. We all, expect. You should tell guys you should expect the best out of yourself, and he knows what he's capable of doing. And Fred will be fine. Just has to keep playing ball. All right. Thank you, guys.
I haven't watched Squid Games. I have no idea what it is. Does anyone know what it is?
Watched a few.
Yeah?
Yeah, my son's 13, said it's a lot of blood and guts, and he's right.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
He gave me a warning not to watch it.
Oh. Yeah, I really don't get what's going on. People have been talking about it today, and I had nothing to contribute to the conversation, so I was hoping you guys could help me out. Clearly, no help.
Wait, what are we talking about?
Squid Games.
Yeah, no help here.
I've been watching Maid on Netflix with my wife and daughter.
Is it good?
I've enjoyed it, yeah. So maybe
That wasn't a hard sell.
No. Well, I mean, they're totally into it. And I enjoy it. Maybe just 10 episodes, maybe something digest me off season.
Yeah, that's probably when I'll be a better viewer and be able to contribute to conversations normally.
He was good. Netflix.
Yeah? Yeah, I've seen that one.
You all caught up?
I can't even remember. I fall asleep so much that I don't even know if I'm on what episode or what day it is really.
Friday.
It's Thursday.
Feels like.
Yeah.
Have you seen any game film lately?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of film. That's
Similar to Squid Game.
yes. I think.
It's called Survival,
Yeah, there you go.
Life and Death.
Same deal.
When people ask you, like I'm doing right now, like, how do you feel about the team's offense, where it is, what you see, where it's going? How do you answer?
Well, yeah, especially when you're not winning football games, you're never content at all. And I really think as a coach, you try not to be content in general because here's the facts of NFL football. It's the best of the best. The parity is unbelievable. It's a game of inches, all those cliches, which are true, but last week doesn't matter at all. So you base your feelings on what has been going on. If you do that too much, you're gonna be heartbroken at some point because you got to look forward. So I can tell you this week, I'm very happy with across the board with the coaches, with the players. I feel like they own the game plan. I feel like they are approaching the game with the right mindset they need to have to win it. And that's really all you look at because you evaluate the tape, you coach it, but then you have to move on. And if you don't, you're going to learn the hard way, whether you're doing good or bad. Let down games, you're in the hole like we are, where we've lost a lot of close games and we've lost games that we could have been a lot more competitive in. So it's important to think solely in that manner. Otherwise, you'll be humbled real quick.
You guys face, is this unique when you face the Rams? It would seem to me that maybe one of the first things you guys talk about is how do we prevent Aaron Donald from ruining the day? Is he a unique talent in that that isn't maybe a conversation you have every week about a particular player on every team?
He's one of the best, if not the best player that I've ever coached against in my 15 years or so in the NFL. So in that regard, he's unbelievably disruptive. The biggest thing about an interior defensive lineman is that if you only block him, there's a lot of other players that are going to make tackles, and it would do an injustice to the Rams defense, which is a very good defense at all three levels, to just say you're only focused on one guy. That being said, you know that he can change the game in a heartbeat. I think the game we won last year in LA, we had a double team on him. I can't remember what quarter it was, but he was on the backside of a run, split it, and had a strip fumble that was returned for a touchdown. So it happens like that. So he's a very, very good player, might be the best player that we've ever gone against offensively. From a defensive standpoint, especially interior players, there's not many like him, but you can't just get in a rabbit hole about one player when there's a lot of good players surrounding him.
How much of Von Miller are you expecting to see on Monday?
Expecting to see a ton of them. You know, they got him for a reason. I'm sure if he's healthy, they're gonna unleash him in full force. So, you know, it is odd when you're preparing for a defensive player that isn't on tape at all in the middle of a season, but it's not uncharted, and it happens every single year, game one, especially when players don't play in the preseason. So it's a hair different, but you have to, you know, all the offensive line coaches, Chris Furster, Butch Berry, Zach Yenser, do a great job of giving our players visuals, going back and doing the research and creating pass rush cut-ups and run fit cut-ups. And I know the tight end coach, John Embry, has done the same thing. So we do our due diligence trying to piece him part to whole into that system.
Miller and Donald, they also have Leonard Floyd. You guys don't have Mike McGlinchey. Is this, you know, this on paper the biggest challenge your offensive line has from a pass protection standpoint this year?
Well, they do. They're really good at getting sacks. They're a good defense. It's you put it up there in terms of the entire NFL, what type of challenge it is. But there's challenges every single week, so you try to be smart with how you approach things, and you try to prepare your players so that they have a good chance to perform on Sunday, which is Monday this week. So I wouldn't say it's as big of a challenge as you do get in the NFL, and we get it twice a year, but it's like everything else. There's a bigger reward when you're able to do well. You know, that was one of the proudest moments we had in 2020, was they were leading the league in sacks again, and we didn't have any sacks that week. The first game we played them, they got us the second time. So you just line up, put your best stuff forward, and let the game of football take its course. Really.
Why did Brunskill do so well against Aaron Donald in the past?
Well, Dan Brunskill did do a really good job blocking, but there's like 60 to 70 plays a game, and there's, you know, it's a group effort. So they're on plays that he needed to hold up. You know, he did a very good job. Then, you know, there's times where you're never going to block Aaron Donald every time. It won't happen. I've never seen it on tape. He's always finding a way to get pressure on the quarterback, but he doesn't always get sacks. That's because that's a group effort. It's the quarterback getting the ball out. It's the receivers separating the timing of the play. It's everybody. So I would say Dan Brunskill did a really good job because Dan Brunskill played well in those games. It's not because he's the Aaron Donald whisperer by any stretch. His teammates played well around him, and you know he plays all over the place. So every single offensive lineman has to block him, and if one player doesn't block him and he gets a sack, it doesn't mean he's not blocking them. They're not blocking him well either. You know, he's going to get pressure on the quarterback. I think if you ask any team in the league that's ever played him, no one's been perfect. He always gets through. It's just a matter of other people make plays when he does.
I was going to ask about that game that you mentioned was one of your proudest moments as a staff last year. I believe if you counted the pitches to Debo as runs, it was 40 runs in that game. How different was that run game plan to, you know, with involving Debo with, I think you guys hit the edges a lot to make sure that you kept the Rams pass rush off balance.
They had seen it on tape before. We hadn't reinvented the wheel, but at the same time, in that particular game, a lot has to do with in terms of how many runs you get called with the flow of the game, and whether you're converting on third downs, whether the defense is getting stops, all of those things. So it wasn't necessarily the plays that game that was cool. What was cool was the mentality of our offense and the group effort. When you watch the all 22 tape, you see a lot of passion out there. You see a lot of people working for a common goal and executing, and that's why it was a good moment. That's what it's going to take to have a chance against these guys this week, and that's what we're trying to prepare our guys to do.
The McGlinchey headbutt game at the end where he...
Yes, it was. I think I think Hronis still feels the remnants of that excitement. That was classic McGlinchey.
How has Jalen Moore done with getting some snaps on the right side of things as opposed to his usual spot?
No, it's been good to see him progress. He had a good day of practice today. A lot of guys did. It was a pretty good day of practice today. It's like anything else, It's hard enough to be a rookie in the league, let alone flip sides. But that's what he's been preparing to do all season, with being the swing tackle or sixth guy, or rotating with Tom, and so we're very happy, just like we always are with Jalen, because he doesn't get worse, he gets better. So today was better in the reps than yesterday, and you hope for tomorrow to be, and the game to be a lot easier for him than it would have been had it happened last week. Stumped you. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Just don't talk about Netflix series and we're good.
Say what?
So don't talk about any Netflix series.
When you face this Rams front, I mean, they can obviously get after you pretty good. How important is it just to kind of stretch the field wide to keep them going sideways rather than right at you?
Yeah, definitely. I think the key is to keep them off balance. If you're just sitting back there taking it, now they get to run all their fun stuff. They get to bring this guy, line Aaron up in whatever position. So I think it's key for us to be on the aggressive, to be on the attack, and have them react to us as opposed to the other way around.
Safe to say that first matchup last year, you guys with those 40 runs were able to execute that in that game?
Yeah, I think we did a pretty good job. Anytime you can get 30-plus runs, you're usually on the winning side of the game. So hopefully we can do that again.
I believe Kyle called that, was that the Deadpool package for Debo?
Yep.
That was the first time we really saw it, I think, that used that extensively in a game. What is, in general, is the goal to get away from Aaron Donald when you're kind of running laterally like that?
Yeah, I think anytime you're playing against Aaron Donald, you're not really trying to have him be involved too much. I really do think he's one of the best defensive players of our generation of all time. The guy, he truly is special. So any way you can neutralize him, whether that's running away from him, whether that's sometimes surprising and run him right at him, anything that you feel like can get it in your favor is good.
How has Jeff Wilson looked in practice the last couple of weeks?
He's looked great, man. It's so awesome to have Jeff back. He brings a different energy, a different mentality to that room, and we love to see him on game day. Kyle's talked about what a dark place he goes to, and he really does, and it gets the whole offense hyped. So we're excited to have him back, and I think he can really help us.
What can you tell us about the Gift of Sport tour, and how does that kind of change your perspective when things are going, difficult on the football field, just when you're giving back? How does that help you?
Yeah, definitely. It puts things into perspective. Even when things are challenging, and we've had a rough start to our season here professionally, there are bigger things out there. And I have such a soft spot for the gift of sport because we're working with youth athletic programs, and I know what a huge impact youth sports had on my life and who it made me as a man and the life lessons that I learned from youth sports. So to be able to be a part of that and team up with Dick's Sporting Goods and give out sporting equipment to under-resourced programs like that, I jumped at it. I just think that's so cool, and I want to be so much a part of that because, like I said, I know what a huge impact it can have and a positive impact. So to take a break away from what we're dealing with as a team and get to be a part of that definitely does put things into perspective.
Out of practice, Dr. John York came out to watch you guys for a little bit. He doesn't do that very often. So when he does it get you guys' attention, and what kind of message does it maybe send?
I definitely noticed. I noticed she was out there, and I nudged some of my rookie running backs to let them know, that something's going on if the owner is there. So I think it just brings a little extra focus, a little extra motivation, and it's honestly it's nice to have him out there because he does a lot of good things for us, and we want to repay the favor by performing for him.
Can you talk a little bit about the attitude going on and the message as far as the team, with the losing record now and facing a rival on Monday? What's that been like, and what message can you transfer to all of these, rookies, just your team in general?
Yeah, my biggest thing I've talked to all the young guys and even the vets is just what a week-to-week league this is and how quickly things can be turned on its head. And there's kind of two ways to look at this week. You could look at what a challenge it is. We're playing against the LA Rams, one of the best teams in the league, a division opponent. You're on Monday Night Football. Backs are against the wall. We're 3-5. A lot of people could see that as a challenge, but I look at it as an opportunity. The bigger the challenge, the bigger the opportunity, because if we can go out and get a win against all those different difficulties that I just put out there, that just creates more momentum. It makes the win count for even just a little bit more, and I feel like it can really swing and turn the season around. And if we can go out there, get a W on Monday night, it's going to set things off in the right direction.
The other night, Draymond Green of the Warriors got in Jordan Poole's face, which is what Draymond Green is known for. Hasn't always gone well, his style, but in general, he's a leader, and that's how he leads. It's a different sport and everything, so I don't know, but do you have someone that's like a Draymond Green here, or in football is like, dude, do not get in my face and yell at me, Is it just a different mentality?
Yeah, you know what? It's too bad because I don't feel like fans like to hear this, and I feel like a lot of, I don't even want to call them old school, but a lot of people don't want to hear it anymore. But I don't think it's just not the most effective way to get through to people anymore, and I don't know if it ever was, because I can think of myself in my personal career as a young kid dealing with coaches like that or somebody on the team like that. And so very few times did that motivation turn into anything productive. I think more times than not, it buried you even deeper. And I think people like to point out the times that it does work, and I think it's kind of one of those hindsight 50-50 things, and we focus on the times that, yeah, look how effective it was. He got in his face, and now he's playing better. But I really think more times than not, if you were to look at it, you're not getting the most out of that. I think there are better ways to approach it, and it's a case-by-case basis. I think every player is different, but I think the majority of guys respond better if you're approaching it a different way. Yep. Thanks, guys.
Cheese has it.
Well, I like that. Nice.
Yeah.
Thought I was going to catch you.
Wow. You didn't. That's tough. Wow, you guys are really, I'm out. I'm kidding.
Anybody else walk around with a football in their arms all week?
Fred Warner.
Fred Warner?
Yeah.
It was something that Quan Alexander, I think, used to do with.
That's it. Yeah. Just always emphasis on the ball. I love it when defensive guys do it. That's just really cool. It's the right mindset. Have the ball on you so you're comfortable holding on to it and getting it out.
Let's go back to your college days.
Holding the football?
Yeah.
Oh God, no. I blocked in college.
So when did you start doing carrying it around?
Carrying it? When I told you guys I was going to, off season, I usually have one just on me. Whether it's, not in the weight room, obviously, but when you're going to run routes and stuff like that, just having it on you so you always just have your hands on a football.
Not to go too far down this
Oh, dear.
rabbit hole, but I mean, do you
Oh,
you
dear.
Can you sketch out when you are carrying it around the facility?
Say again?
I mean, you're carrying it around the facility this week?
Yep.
And is it a new thing because of the fumble?
Oh, I just added extra emphasis on it. I mean, I know I don't have the greatest ball security. I think it's my first fumble I've lost, so it's annoying. Don't want it to happen again, so just add a little extra emphasis on it.
Do you, I mean, just when it comes to leadership like that, like you're, in so many words, saying, this is the standard I have, and because I fell short of it, this is what I'm going to do. I don't know if that speaks to other players on the team, but is that, and I'm not saying you're holding yourself up as the standard, right, of how to lead, but does everyone kind of need to do that, look at themselves and say, I did this wrong, I'm going to fix it?
I mean, I think you have to do that every day, whether you're playing football or just in life in general. I mean, you got to be able to look yourself in the mirror and, hey, this is what I'm not doing right, or, I don't know. I try not to, you can't really make excuses for yourself because everything that happens on the field, I feel like, you get in unfortunate situations sometimes, but, it was my choice to hurdle a guy and, lacks ball security, and it led to a fumble. So how do I change that? Carry a football around just so I'm holding on to it more. Whether it's a bad play, but, you always have a choice to how you react or how you respond to situations, and so I always just try to get ahead of the thing. And like I said, you got to be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, this is what I'm doing wrong, and, okay, how am I going to fix it? I'm not going to blame someone else for it, but I'm going to fix it doing this.
How has Brandon Ayuk responded?
He's had a hell of a week of practice. He looks great out there, catching everything. You can just tell watching the tape, the emphasis, guys holding on to the football. I think it's been pretty obvious that turnovers have been the reason why our offense has been very stagnant sometimes, and I think I've said it before, we continually put our defense in tough spots, short fields, stuff like that, and I just saw the time of possession last week too was absolutely brutal, and we can't be doing that to our defense if we expect to have a chance. We need to be a very efficient offense that holds on to the football, and I think this week I'm looking forward to playing the game Monday night because I think our guys have been hungry. I think our guys have really responded this week, and you see a lot of effort. You see a lot of hard work out there every single day, so that's been good to see.
Saw Dr. York out there today as well.
Oh, yeah. He's been out there the last couple of days. It's awesome.
Has he?
Yeah. I like seeing Dr. York. Oh, he's a friendly smile under that mask. I can just tell I like people that just like being around football. It's just fun to see you guys out there. I know you guys are only there just because you work. You have to report on stuff, but he takes time out of his day to come see us.
You guys interpret that as a message that we better turn things around?
No, he's been there the last couple of weeks. He's been there pretty often actually this season. It was tough last year just with all the with COVID regulations a lot stricter and less certainty I guess about how people were responding and the safety of players and coaches and just being in the building. So I think just with our protocols now, he's just around more, which is nice to see. 2017, 18, 19, he was there all the time, almost every practice, it felt like. So it's nice to see him back out there again.
There's been, when you're 3-5, there's discussion about what's obviously this is wrong with the team, this is wrong with the team, this is wrong with the team. So one of the things, which may or may not have merit, is that you guys have, all your established leaders, captains, are lead by example types, and you need someone, maybe to be a little more forceful, whether it's a Draymond Green type or whatever. Is there merit to that? And is that any sort of role you feel comfortable taking or feel it is necessary to take?
I think there's a couple parts to that to break down. I think basketball is a lot different than football. I think that we've never, I think everybody, when things aren't going right, everybody's trying to find an answer. Hey, you got to fix this, you got to fix that. Oh, you guys aren't doing this right, you guys aren't doing that right. I mean, at the end of the day, we're turning the ball over and we're not getting enough stops on defense. Like, we're putting our defense in bad situations. We're not playing team football. Like, we're just not, three phases aren't just, they're not synced up. So are there a billion answers out there that everybody wants to solve, whether people are sitting on their couch, people on ESPN, reporters, players, coaches? Yeah, we want to fix the problem. We want to win games. But you watch the tape and continually all I see is high effort, guys grinding. You watch the tape, there's a couple MAs here and there, and MAs are things that you can fix. You really can, like extra coaching, extra practice, working hard. But the thing that I love about this team is, I mean, I don't feel like we've ever given up. I don't think you don't look at the team and you see loafs ever. And you can win games with guys that give high effort 24/7. I mean, I felt like that. We've done that multiple times in the past. And, like, I wouldn't say we've always had the most talented team, in the NFL. I think we have fantastic players at a lot of positions. But we always have is guys that step up and guys that practice really hard that translates into games. And, that's the one thing that we've been struggling with is that translation to games, whether that's the turnovers or, like I said, I think red zone touchdowns, we've given up a couple here and there, more than we'd like to. But I think overall, we have a team that wants to win, wants to get better. And you can see that every day by watching the practice tape. And that encourages me for the rest of the season, especially this Monday.
Do you, just following up, do you feel like it's, like I asked Kyle Easter a similar question, and he just said, well, it's not, he never finds it particularly helpful, through his athletic career when a coach or player got in his face. He feels it goes, kind of made him go in a deeper funk.
I mean, if I felt like I was on a team that needed guys to get shouted at and screamed at, I've been a part of teams like that, and I didn't really see a lot of success in it. I think that, there's times that my tight end coach, he'll light a fire under my ass, which I'm all for, but it's not a disrespectful type of screaming thing. Like, I think we do a really good job of holding each other accountable here. Guys will say, hey, like, that's an unacceptable rep. Like, you can't do that. But like I said, this team's full of guys that have a lot of effort. They have a lot of pride in what they do. They have a lot of pride in the name of their back of their jersey and then the logo on the side of their helmets. And so they want to get better and they want to, hold this team to a high standard. And you see that every day. So you don't really need the screaming. You don't need the, I really wouldn't know who to yell at. Like I said, there's a couple MAs out there, but I think guys are really focused on fixing those and going into this next game. Like, hey, we know our backs are against the wall. 3-5 is unacceptable. We're underperforming. So everybody knows that, and everyone has an itch and has an urge to get better.
Thank you, George.
Thank you, yes.
What do you think about playing on the Monday Night Football stage and go back to your rookie year against the Browns? Do you get a little extra juice for being in that spotlight?
Yeah, definitely prefer a 1 o'clock game just because get going earlier and don't have to wait all day. But whenever it's prime time, definitely have to try and show out.
How would you characterize the mood right now? This would seem to be like a low point of this season.
I think it's good after meetings on what was it this week, Wednesday, and then after yesterday's practice. I think pretty much last week is behind us, at least for me. So I felt really good mentally today.
What strikes you about the Rams and Matthew Stafford?
They have a really good scheme. They definitely don't allow, at least they try not to allow guys like us to wreak havoc on the game, like D linemen. And last weekend was a pretty good template with Tennessee and how they got after him. But if you don't get after him, then Stafford is Hall of Famer, one of the best, and just like any quarterback, if you get pressure up the middle and get after him, it could change.
You guys practice against the first string offensive line?
Do we?
Yeah.
We get one period, and then it's just scout team, and then we do one-on-ones.
Have you noticed George carrying the ball around?
George?
Yeah.
No, is he doing that because he fumbled?
Yeah.
I used to do that when I was a little kid.
What position are you playing?
D-line.
It's an obvious question. Why would you?
Just because I love football.
Okay, gotcha.
Have any urge to do that now too?
Not anymore, no.
When you were a kid, were you taking it with you everywhere you went?
Yeah, I would like sleep with it and whatever. Just have it with me.
You guys talked about this home losing streak this week. Just seems like we go over it repeatedly this season, but anything extra this week or plans?
We usually give it everything we got, so so we're definitely going to do that again. Hopefully more efficiently and better execution.
What do you admire about Von Miller's game?
His game?
Yeah.
Just how I remember when we joint practiced with them in my rookie year, and just watching how he rushes and how everything is just so natural, the way he moves, and he never telegraphs anything. It doesn't look like he really has he might have a plan in mind, but the way he just, like, it's not a two-step this, do that. It's just rush, see what's in front of me and react. And obviously his movement skills are better than anybody's, so he's really good.
As a rookie, did you get to know him at all during that time?
No, I didn't.
Did it feel comfortable?
Hmm?
Did you? I mean, just as a rookie, did you not feel comfortable approaching him?
No, I just I think I had an ankle at the time, so I wasn't practicing.
Okay, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.